I'm going to be starting a new series on this channel. It's going to be called All of My Airguns Versus. And the first victim today is this Onnais safe. This is their model HX-010 fingerprint security safe. I have to give credit to Onnais for this. When they reached out, I proposed this idea first thing and they agreed to it. So props to them for allowing me to destroy this on camera. Now, I don't think this is going to be like some realistic scenario of someone trying to break into your safe where they'd be using air guns to try and blow it apart, because that would just be insane, but that's what we're doing here today. I'm going to have everything timestamped because I have a ton of guns that I'm going to be bringing out, so those will all be marked out. And before we get started, I'll just do a quick review of this safe. It's not going to be too long. It's pretty straightforward. So let's do that real quick, and then we'll get straight to the action. First things first, when you open this up for the first time, you're going to need the key. There's a compartment right here. You're going to need 4 AA batteries before you get started in this. Now, obviously, you do have the key if you just wanted to go that route, but assuming that you bought this to have the digital key lock and the fingerprint, then obviously you're going to want to put batteries in it. So let's go over that real quick. There's some buttons down here. Now, if you press reset 3 times, it's going to clear the factory code, and then if you hit add, you can add in whatever code you want. You do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hit OK. Do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, OK. Now if we lock this, and then we just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, OK. Now we got it open. Now you can only add or change codes when it's open. So say you wanted to add fingerprint codes to this. We hit the add button, and then you're going to put your finger on here 6 times. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we get that beep. All right, so let's close this. I'll use my fingerprint, and we're open. Now, when it comes down to size, it's pretty compact in there. You'd have no issue, you know, putting in your carry pistol or whatnot, but let's say you want to put in a 44 Magnum Desert Eagle. Let's see if that fits. And as you can see, it does fit in there, just pretty much barely. You have enough room for probably like, you know, 1 or 2 magazines, but other than that, it's pretty tight in there. Like I said, carry pistols or whatnot, you'd have no issue putting those in there. Now, when it comes to the actual use of this safe, I feel like this is more of a child safety, you know, getting this out of someone's hands that shouldn't have this kind of thing. If someone's going to come into your house and steal this, they're probably going to have no issue cutting into it and getting access to it. Like I said, probably just keeping out of the hands of people who shouldn't be around these kind of deal. So other than that, I don't think it's really going to stand up to someone trying to break into it if they had the tools to. Just keep that in mind. More of a personal security safe rather than a dedicated full-size safe where you'd store rifles and all that stuff. I think that should wrap this up here. This is pretty self-explanatory. Now, let's get to destroying this. We're going to go from the smallest caliber I have up to the highest caliber. We're not going to do this by, you know, power or anything. It's just going to be from lower caliber up to the highest caliber. Let's go. Up first, we have the Red Ryder 47. I'm not going to sight these in on camera, but we're going to do a chronograph test and just see where this lands on paper. Now, you might see some extra rounds show up on the paper, but I'm just trying to get this sighted in and do the downrange footage against the safe, make this as quick as possible. This is up first. 277 feet per second. Round 1, pretty much 0 damage. Up next, the CO2 powered 177 caliber Sig P226. Now, these Daisy pellets don't even have the grain weight on them, so if I find that out later, I'll post the FPE. 350 feet per second. Now, I'm probably just gonna move closer with this. I suck with pistols. I can't tell any difference between this and the BB gun. Pretty much no damage, just a mark on there. Up next, the AirForce Condor 177. I'm using the same pellets as we put through the Sig P226. Just my luck, my red dot sight died, so I'm using this Texas Precision Optics sniper scope right now. 1,300 feet per second. That Condor SS actually put a decent little dent in there. Not all the way through, but we're getting there. Let's go up to the 22 calibers. Up next, 22 caliber Deanna Chaser CO2 powered. We're using these exact jumbos, 13.43 grains. 502 feet per second. There's a fraction of a dent in there. A little bit more than the 177s, except that Condor. The Condor was stronger than the Deanna Chaser. 22 caliber PCP Deanna Bandit. We're going to be using that same ammo that we used in the Chaser. 585 feet per second. I'm probably going to get up closer with this because I suck with pistols. Now the dent we put in there with the Deanna Bandit was similar to the 177 Condor. Granted, I'm sure the power was much less, but the dent was pretty similar. We have the Beeman GS950, same pellets. 564 feet per second. The dent that the Beeman GS950 made was pretty similar to the Deanna Chaser 22, the CO2 powered one. Beeman R9, same pellets. 609 feet per second. I have no idea where the iron sights are hitting on this, so let's just get closer and shoot from there. Well, I guess that sums up why I couldn't see where I was shooting, because it was shooting so low. We blow out the 1 number key on there. Beeman Chief II, 22 caliber. 883 feet per second. Well, I forgot to turn on the other camera, my bad. So far, that mark that we just put in there with the Beeman Chief II is the strongest. That's the biggest dent so far. Hopefully I don't butcher the name. Barra or Barra? I'm gonna call it Barra. 1100Z Gen 2. This thing's brand new. A fan of the channel sent this in. Big thank you to them. Still has a sticker on there, so. 980 feet per second. I've been losing track of where these have been hitting, so I think that's where that last one hit. Pretty sizable dent. We have the Pinty P-Force, 22 caliber. Same ammo as before. 939 feet per second. So that Pinty PCP did about the same damage as the Barra 1100Z. Last up for the 22 calibers, we got the Benjamin Kratos. We're going to be using 20.2 grain, 219 caliber NSA slugs. 895 feet per second. That's a pretty sizable dent in there, the biggest one so far. Next up, AEA SF 25 caliber. We're gonna be using NSA .249 caliber, 26.8 grain slugs. Ricochet for Stony, 864 feet per second. Okay, this is probably the last shot I'm gonna put on that target. I'm gonna probably spray paint it just so I can see where the new hits are. I hope that was the impact I just made with that SF. We actually blew the latch open, so if you are trying to break into someone's safe, you just shoot it with an AEA SF 25 cal. Locked back up, let's go. Next up, Benjamin Marauder 25 caliber. I'm gonna be using these AEA center punch 33.9 grain pellets. 616 feet per second. Well, from the looks of things, the velocity was a little bit too low for it to penetrate. The 22s are actually doing a little bit more than this, so let's just move on. We got another Benjamin Kratos. This one's in 25 caliber. 751 feet per second. Well, considering I just almost knocked it out of the stand, I'm gonna flip this upside down so we can get a little bit of a better grip on things. Let's step it up to the next 25 caliber though. Up next, the Barra 250Z 25 cal. We're using the same pellets as last time. Once again, this was sent out by the same fan, so thank you to them again. 863 feet per second. All right, that was the most sizable dent so far. They actually sound like a gunshot going off without the moderator on there. Holy crap. The Huben GK1 in 25 caliber. This is gonna wrap up the 25 calibers. Same ammo as before. 837 feet per second. I'm gonna have to spray paint this again because I'm losing track. Both those impacts, whichever one it was, are about the same depth. We've made it into the 30 caliber territory. We have the Hatsan Blitz 30 caliber. In the Blitz, we're gonna be using FX 44.8 grain pellets. 646 feet per second. The dent from the 30 cal Blitz was pretty similar to the 25 caliber Barra or Barra. Sorry if I'm butchering that name. Next up, the 30 caliber AEA SF. We're gonna be using 50 grain slugs. I'm not sure what brand it is though. 571 feet per second. About the same damage as the Blitz. Next, we have the Macavity Arms MA2 30 caliber. We're gonna be using these AEA 45 grain center punch pellets. 865 feet per second. Okay, so far that MA2 made the biggest dent. Up next, we got the 30 caliber Western Sidewinder. A big thank you to Airgun Tactical for setting out this Western Sidewinder. 940 FPS. Surprised you did not put a hole through that thing. That's a pretty deep dent in there. We got the big one out. Gauntlet 30 using the same pellets. 979 feet per second. I'm amazed that that did not make it through. That's the biggest dent so far though. Gauntlet 30, number 2 is up. Except this time we're gonna be using 78 grain Griffin bowtail slugs. 811 feet per second. Surprisingly, about the same penetration. We're still not through even in 30 caliber. The AirForce Texan is up next, 308 caliber. I'm using these 120 grain Griffin bowtail slugs. 874 feet per second. That one kind of keyholed it through there, but we actually did make it through the safe. No penetration in the back though. Let's keep going. Up next, the Western Rattler in 357 caliber. We're gonna be using these Alco 125 grain slugs. 912 feet per second. I was pretty much expecting that one to go completely through that first panel, but we actually got a little bit of a dent in the rear now. Pretty decent sized bulge in the back. Let's keep going. Up next with the AEA Defender 2. This one's rocking the Macavity Speed stock. Hopefully we won't need to move up with this, but depending on how accurate it is, we might need to move up. I believe these are 155 grain slugs from Texan Precision Pellet. I might be off on the grain amount, but I think that's what those are. 329 feet per second. I think we hit it. Let's go check it out. I honestly can't tell because it didn't like strip the paint off or anything. This one's gonna be loud as hell. No moderator, Umarex Hammer, 510 cal. 720 feet per second. So the hammer sprung a leak. I'm gonna move in a little bit closer because I didn't get it sighted in. I'm just wasting air right now. Let's just move in a little bit closer. So that's gonna wrap it up for the hammer for now. That was an absolute fail. I couldn't even land those rounds on it, like basically point blank range. Granted, the sight is way off, and I don't even know if that ammo was gonna be usable in this because it was really loose in that magazine, so we'll just have to move on. We got the Magnum Harpoon. A big thank you to Tom at Bluegrass Big Bore for setting this thing out. Absolutely crazy. We have 480 grain slugs from Texan Precision Pellet. We are running out of time, so I gotta hurry this up a little bit. Let's get chronograph numbers real quick. I'm not sure if that was correct. I'm gonna move the chronograph down and take another shot on the safe. 470 feet per second. So I cheated just a hair. I had to get a little bit closer, but it was absolutely devastating on that safe. Okay, so that slug pretty much turned that safe into mincemeat. I'm sure the 510 out of that hammer would have been, well, a hammer. Last up, we have two 32-inch barrels, 72 caliber Zeuses. This one has that Texoma metal body kit on it. We're gonna be using Texoma 570 grain, at least I think it's 570 grain, slugs. With me running out of time and no sights, I'm gonna get a little bit closer and just try and eyeball the shot and get the chronograph reading at the same time. Well, that was definitely interesting. I just blew an O-ring out of this. So I guess we're stepping up to the other Zeus right now. We got the Zeus Tactical 32-inch 72 caliber. Let's try with this. Hopefully I won't blow up my eardrums this time, because holy crap, that was loud. 1,037 feet per second. Well, we blew a clean hole through the front and the back. Let's do one more. I have one more round. Let's check that out. Last round of Zeus. 1,082 grains from Mr. Hollow Point. 779 feet per second. That wasn't even at max power. We were probably at like 4,000 PSI. That's a big increase. Wow, what a hole. All right, so I have to say, this thing held up pretty decent against the smaller calibers, 30 and below. Once we got to 308 and up, they pretty much decimated it. A big thank you to Onnais for actually letting me destroy one of their products. I have to give them props for that, because who wants to see one of their own things get destroyed on camera? So hopefully this video is something that people like and we can repeat this again, because man, it sucks bringing out all those air guns. All right, so yeah.